And it's not easy to build tiny letters.
What do you want the letters for? Just
I'm going to swallow a word, 3-letter word going down his throat. So I know that you're curious, well, why the hell are you making a 3-letter word that you haven't told me about, or what are you up to? But this is pretty hard clay, but see how nicely it kind of gives a really nice solid thinness to each. It's not flabby. Some clay is. All right. And I'm going to build an F to start with. And I may have to go to the extruder with this. It's going to be super simple words, but I'm going to have to pre-distort it because I want the word to be going down from his stomach through his intestines. That is the goal. And this will be an F, which is the first of the 3 letters. And this is going to be texture making. Yeah. It's just the same old make a first sandwich and then put it through the extruder, through the pasta grinder. Oh, that's a softer, deeper blue. I don't know. I think I like it. No, yeah. This is a little more circusy, a little brighter and happier. I don't know what's the right read on the. This is an easy one to work with, though. Boy, is that nice looking. I'm tempted, but I'll keep with the program. This is sloppy, just making a sandwich, filling it in because this clay is really bad, which is why it's going to go through the grinder right now. And I probably only need 2 sheets to make 3 letters. It's going to be as tiny as I can make it. All right, so I'm putting it through the pasta grinder. It's a little, see these parts where it came out are not ideal. So maybe I have to be careful of that when I use them. Font letters. But let me start making an F. Because it has to be a very, it's going to be traveling at a great speed. So if I want it to look normal, I have to make it really squat. Because then it'll be normal. Squat at letters. And that's probably too fat. So this is just going to be lines, you know. I'm going to use these lines to make the letters and create negative blue or something to, yeah. If I was trying to do the F, I would, oops. Yeah, it's still too fat, way too fat. I'm just going to try to make this stuff skinnier without ruining it. It's not the best because of the crumbly blue. You know how to, pull it up with a knife, right? Okay. So once you press it out and it's really, like, literally stuck to the oil of the surface of the glass, you have to slice it back up from the bottom side. And then I'm just extruding, just like an extruder, but I'm doing it by hand right now. I'm trying to make them as small as possible as letters. So this is feedstock for the letters that are going to come. I'm going to go ahead and fix the tiny bit of white. All right. I'm going to press it out, extrude it, get it flatter. It probably makes the letters more workable because they're I'm kind of gluing the 2 lines together really a lot by doing this, so they're not just clay dancing together, but not really like partners yet. All right.
And what's the word?
Oh, we'll see.
Is it FBI?
Could be. Right, he's swallowing the FBI. It should be a sovereign citizen, or no. I am my own country. You cannot tax me. You cannot make laws.
You sound like the Terminator.
That is like the Terminator. I think that's the voice inside their heads when they're trying to be badass. Isn't that what's going on in their heads? Those goofballs in Coeur d'Alene who came out of a U-Haul van, the police opened up the van, and they're all in polo shirts, and whatever.
Perfectly tucked into their khakis.
Their khakis. It's like, what a look! It's like they want to appropriate blindness, right? That's been the whole point of that joke. You can't be mad at us because we don't look like brown shirts. You know, we look like everybody at the mall. We just make the mall uniform our uniform. And so we're safe. We're safe, middle America. Not. All right. So what you're going to see me do is I'm really trying to make small. So just watch this. But it's really hard to see. I'm in a sense covering it by half. That's all I'm doing. And I'm using the base. I'm using these to sort of help each other stick together.
The dark blue?
Yeah, the dark blue is more, I don't know, robustly attached to the letter blue-white by doing it that way. And now I'm going to, I guess I could have done it the other way, but this will be the two parts of the F, not the stem of the F, but the two horizontals. And it's just white, blue. And the fact I use two tones of blue is just a question of negative space. And whether that's richer as an experience or more confusing as a visual, they're close enough that I think you're really only supposed to read the white. And all I'm trying to get is legibility. I'm not trying to get animation, really. I'm just trying to pre-distort it for legibility and make it as small as possible.
And you think it's clearer than just doing white?
No, as long as the white is there, it'll be clear. I don't think the blue is...
Well, the blue's just for
It's just
patriotism.
Perhaps. It's just the letter, the word I'm spelling has these colors. So yeah, maybe. It's not intentional. I'm really trying to stay true to all right. Now, I put, I really should trim these, but I'm not going to. I'm just
you're doing FDA.
Am I doing FDA? Maybe. I'm keeping you in doubt. The next letter is going to be a U, which isn't what you were expecting. And which makes you have to wonder, what is it FUD? No, it's not FUD, but that would be a good one. So I'm trying to get the white to attach to the white. That was a mistake. So you see, these are the two lines of the F, and I did the wrong side. This is blue. I do not want the white to be touching the blue. I want the white to be touching the white. So this is going to be the stem of the F, and now it's white on white. So the clarity of the F is simple. It's a simple, 3 strokes, like you would draw it in by hand. And I'm just trying to keep it squarish. And now I'm going to fill in with the darker blue to square out the bottom of the letter.
Are you going to cut a wedge in for to split the horizontals? Like, how are you going to get the...
Keep going.
How are you going to get, like, the shape of the F from that?
Oh, you'll see. It's there. I will simply cut it once I've got it boxed in. I'm boxing it in. It's not boxed yet. And the F lives. Well, it doesn't live well or clear yet, but I'm at the butt end of it. Okay, that's the F. It just is, it's fine. You see the bottom, the white is a little thin right there because it's at the butt. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
They're just squaring out this little super tiny piece because I want it to have a box, you know. So the the U that goes next to it will be able to, and even in this, I can start to prep for the U by putting a little curl at the bottom of this box. Now is kissing the beginning of what will be the U right next to it. Although I'm probably doing, yeah, this is not backwards. This is correct now. Now part of it will be to get before you'll really see the top of the F and see the letter clearly. And again, this is the problem of working small. It's really probably, I should take twice as long to try to make it super clear. I'm trying to do it as fast as possible and make it plausibly legible. Right now I'm covering the top of the F because I'm trying to box it in, which is the best way I can explain it. I'm trying to make every bit of, once the F is done, I want it to be blue, some kind of smear of blue all around it. So the next letter is in no way touching it or competing with it, and it's separate unto itself. I could have 3 letters go through rather than a word go through. That might be easier to go through the intestines. Because it's such a crazy idea anyway.
Like a word, but the letters are just separated?
Yeah. They're just 1, 2, 3 in linear form, maybe. That would be, because of the amount I have to squish them. You know, the intestines are they're pretty thin, so I don't know how I'm going to, you know, it's like putting a... Right, it's a rat and a snake. What would that look like? Confusing. All right. So perhaps the white is too thin. I think once you see it repetitively, maybe it'll be good enough. There it is. Yeah. All right, so it's an F. We can cross-check it on the other side and hope that we're confident. Yeah, it's an F. I wouldn't say it's great. I think I would put more, maybe there'll be more white showing up right now. Here. And it's a little better. Anyway. I guess it's bad that I did the lighter blue, but it reads because of the lighter blue. I think the lighter blue shimmied the white down to too thin of a thing. Okay, but it's good on this side. Great. Now, gonna make a U, that's right. I'm gonna try to improve my white ratio. I'm gonna try to improve my letter now. It's pretty simple to make a U. That's good. It isn't as complicated as the F. And I'm going to put the white against the dark blue. That's pretty simple. I'm just going to literally collapse it on itself like that. And simply try to keep the curve that's coming on the other side. Don't let it go. Don't let it become a V on this side. This could be kind of V-like. So keep the curve, because then it would be F. It's not a 4-letter word, because I think you would have guessed that already. Okay. What I also don't want is the 2 sides to touch. I really don't want any white to be touching up here. It really has to be clean, otherwise it's an O. And you don't want an O. Okay, so I look at it and I go, okay, there's no white. I mean, there's no way actually crossing wires there, and this is a little ragged, but I'm going to sort of smooth it out and then add the last bit of blue, and it should be a good, gentle horseshoe. You're very patient to keep listening and trying to stay in the game while all this slow stuff is going on.
No, I'm learning.
Okay. So you can see I'm trying to now match them up so they're sort of approximately the same length, which they're not. The other thing is I need to box this a little bit more.
Do you want them to be that long?
I want it to be longer. I'm going to extrude it even more. Because remember, if this letter comes in this way, this is super fat.
Oh, it's not like...
Yeah, it's going to be going down his intestines. So I'm building this first because I have to build the intestines around it. I know, this is crazy, tedious, and just, yeah, crazy. So what I will be doing to all of them is trying to compress them like this. Just fatten them down. And once they're boxed, it's easier to make sure they don't get distorted. And, you know, an F is a nice boxed up letter. And, yeah. Okay, fatten it down, yeah. So you can see it's getting very squat. It's a wrestler. It's a linebacker. Okay. This is not enough, but I'm going to have to live with it. It should be even more squat than that. There's a point at which I'm not going to try anymore. I'm going to have to figure out a different use solution to... And so this F is flying down like this direction through... I'm going to snake it through the... And that's going to be the F, right? So you see on the diagonal, it comes back to its original... closer to its original undistorted shape. If you were more precise, it would be...
How are you going to distort the U without the white touching, without it becoming a circle?
I think it's already clear. You know, it's like as long as those don't touch. So one way is just to cement it. Like this is electricity. Stop the wires. They're touching. Okay. I don't know that would have mattered. It's mostly a blip. But I'm simply now going to box the U. I'm boxing the letter now. And in boxing it, this little blue, this darker blue that goes on top is cementing the fact that they're never going to touch now. They're hitting the ceiling. The blue is going to stay there no matter what distortion or shape I choose. It's going to be not going anywhere. Okay. So this still requires, the U is not boxed. So if I were to press this down, it would become more and more like a, I don't know, a field goal post, you know, like a football game field goal post. It would become boxy and not rounded. So I'm building the negative space of blue around the edge. Okay. Do you understand how I'm trying to square the box, and this is a curve, and I'm trying to protect the curve once it starts to distort again by putting a sort of triangle pinch. I'm going to do it on both sides. All right. Almost done. Okay. So this needs its own extrusion like the F. A lot of this is just taking it and flattening it. So the U is getting flatter. And then trying to keep the square so it isn't, that's why the ground is so nice, you know, to do it this way makes it so much less wobbly. You can do it with your hands, but pressing on it, you just have to, again, feel the clay to say, okay, is this the fat part or the thin part? Fat part or thin part? Do I need to add a little bit more by pushing it together, or take a bump down by pressing it down and extruding it more? Now, something going on in here, I just want to warn you, is I feel something ripping already in there. Like there's invisible clay, but I believe there's going to be a frame or two where the U is not clearly displayed, and I'm not going to do anything about it because there's plenty of frames where it's going to make perfect sense. But it's true that on a single slice, if somebody just gets a slice, they may have a harder time reading what's in front of them. All right. One more letter to go. This is super fat. What a... These are levels of complication we never thought we were going to be when we began this character. This is... it's because I have a little time off in between, and I begin to imagine, okay, so what can we do with that? So this is a U, and if you were to cut it at this dramatic angle going through his intestines, it would be, oh, wrong way. And that's the V problem. You got to make sure you're, so
how do you fix it?
The way, it won't be that bad. It's just one frame. It could be that the bottom got, yeah, that's where it starts looking good. So again, there's going to be a couple of chattery moments because the clay isn't the greatest. I do believe I can shrink these more, by the way. I don't think this is as shrunken as they can get and still be readable, but it'll be a little bit of a struggle. And it will probably take as long as it's taken just to get this far on the letters. Because you have to be careful as you shrink it, you know. It starts to potentially distort more. And the chunky little problems that are going on are only going to get worse and more distorted and more weird and take up more, start to actually make it unreadable. So I'm going to pause and not take it down to the level I want all the time. Let me cut this off, see if it's there. So that's the U on the bottom. That's the U on the top. Again, could be better. So I'm going to slice them. I'm going to just put them this way. And then I'm going to work on a third letter. The U is really long. I wish I could use... since I'm going to run them down this way, just for I don't know what sake, I'm going to go ahead and shorten the U. I made it too big. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It may just live in euphony. Yeah, it's a little V-like, isn't it? So maybe I could cut that piece and see if it's better and do a splice. That's a little better. You see how I don't want to take it down any farther because it's already becoming really, well, it's probably the cut was bad. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. It's sort of V-like. That's fine. Again, in animation, it'll probably still read, but yeah. Hold on. All right. Well, we're going to exit that conundrum and keep going. So, the most difficult letter of all, X. What's that spell?
Fox. And you don't want to do the O so you don't get sued?
No, it's not about that. It's just silliness. It's just like, it's all on the nose enough. Do I really have to be that on the nose? No. And you can make it, with 3 letters, you can make it, you can put it on Twitter, and what can they say about it? You know, it's not the 4-letter word. It's sounding out a 3-letter word. I know I've seen it spelled differently. So the problem I have is the X is, you know, missing I don't have enough of the original white blue to finish it, so I'm going to have to manufacture a little more. Always joyous, always tedious. I'm going to run it through this grinder, the HUFF grinder. Bring it back to the table after it's skinny. Shave off the detritus and attempt to, I'm trying to make a wedge here. So see this little triangle I'm making? It's going to be an attempt at doing, making the center part, the center of the X, and it's going to have two, smaller tendril X, crossings. So this is a pretty skinny attempt. And then I'm going to fill in the negative space on the fact that I'm trying to make, I've got this valley running through it now, but it's open and unprotected from more squishing. All right, done. And so I'm going to put another triangle of this darker blue in there to keep the valley from collapsing when I'm boxing it out. I'm taking the negative space and just filling it in. All right, there it goes in. It's going in the wedge. Perhaps that could be seen better. Done. And then the other side of the X is pretty much the same process. It's a Y, so I'm going to now finish the wedging and build a this is a triangle being extruded across. I don't know that it's a good idea that he swallows something and it goes down his intestines like a rat through a snake, but I was humored by the fact I would have to be a lot of work to show you, and you would see a lot of things that, are further along on the course of Straticut than your average. I could do an intestine much faster than this if I just was doing just that. This complicates it, doubles the complication and then some. It's kind of like the hat, going in and trying to do a texture and it's rotating. It's half a beach ball, and then the cue is using the texture inside it, and then I have to do surgery because it didn't come out quite clear. And that's all good stuff to know, I think, right? Because there's no article or anything that would ever show that. And even in my previous demos, I don't think, I could, since I was generally just giving a one-way speech, I wasn't asked. And I certainly had nobody who would sit around for 2 hours a day, every day, trying to document the process and stay generally awake during it. This is the first time where I really had a chance or a reason or a purpose to explain it, because otherwise I would be talking to a blank video machine and hoping that whatever I uploaded made sense to somebody on the other side. Did the Oregon Ducks go red in their team colors? All right, so this is, I'm making another triangle, as you can see, and I'm filling in the last empty area that doesn't have any support. This will be the X, and then I'm gonna, once it's boxed in, I will extrude the X. So it'll be skinnier and fatter like those guys are. It also looks like it's too long. So it's kind of on the, oh yeah, I chewed through my U. X marks the spot. I could box a little more because I don't want the whites to touch whites, but I'm looking at this saying, okay, this is pretty boxed with blue, so I probably can touch it together. So I'm not going to add any extra blue color to refine the readability. Let's squish it down. Extrude it. Again, it's going to be super long compared to the F. And I will do it as fast as I can. And then I'm going to put a red line under it and call it good. And then we're going to plot the...
A red line
under the FUX. And then I'm going to plot the path it takes through the intestines. And then after that, I can build the intestines. Because I needed to have this there. If he's swallowing it, it had to be built first. As the object of the animation, really, you know, and the intestines just support that. So they're the snake. They're just there. You know, this is all about making the rat, and you have to build from the inside out, right? This is the inside of the next object. Okay, X it is, and it's beautiful thing about X is it's a symmetrical letter. So even if I'm upside down, I'm correct. But it doesn't read yet. All right, there, it reads enough. You obviously need to understand or know it to have any clue what the hell that's going to mean. So really, people who see the animation will get it because it'll be fast enough. People who see the stills are going to be kind of like, what? There's a lot of that in various things I've done. All right, so this is our general working shape. It needs a good red line on the bottom. Just trying to respect the FUX logo. Okay. I didn't choose the color scheme. It was appropriated from something patriotic and grotesquified into a Money for Lies machine. All right.
You know, Tucker Carlson was my neighbor.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Mr. Swanson himself?
I used to play at his house.
Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't
do
know.
tell.
When I was younger, I had no idea.
Of course. I mean, what an evolution. You know, remember he was on PBS and he wore a bow tie. Probably when you were born. That's
I mean,
what
I
it
saw the
looked like.
video of Bowtie Tucker saying like he would be a Republican if he were to go into politics.
Yeah, but he pretended to be common sense, would listen, would give arguments that were actually attempting to be some kind of lame, mediocre conservatism. He wasn't fully flamethrower, and being on PBS, he was allowed to be the conservative on each show because he wouldn't flamethrow. He was sort of reined in a little bit, and his identity was a little, I hate to say it, but prissy, you know, that whole bow tie thing with his little tiny mouth and his big chipmunk cheeks. All right. So this is we've left the Q hat at the very top. I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to assume that it goes down the stomach. I'm going to use it twice now. This is what I've been theorizing while I'm doing this. What am I going to do? I could use it 3 times.
Like it swallows in, keeps swallowing.
Yeah, there's 3 of them going down his throat. They're just at different stages inside his things because it's too. I would have to make this happen. I would have to extrude it. It would get more distorted, and be unreadable, and it would have to be going super fast because it'd have to be super long to get it that. To go the yeah.
Theoretically, could you put a really tiny fox in the eye, or is that way too small?
Well, I would never put fox, but I might put FUX in.
Yeah. Like a reflection? Would that be possible?
You know, you asked that the other day, like these tiny little patterns that show up in some of this work, which are hyper dense, and I don't even pretend to completely, you know, what's reproducible. I haven't really gone there because I've been busy just in a lot of other places with what I'm doing in clay. I like, you know, going places, but when you're working slightly larger, those tiny textures don't mean anything. So when you're working smaller, they do, and I just don't work. I haven't worked small enough, long enough. Again, I started small because I had no money, and of course you don't have a lot of clay, so you're just going to do what you can with the. And there were a lot of really good, simple decisions that were made when I look back at BuzzBox. You know, the Blabbercaster, you know, head to, you know, top to bottom was only that big. You've seen the thing of it, right? So the fact the eyes functioned and the mouth functioned and the understanding of the face functioned was just like great. But I was doing simpler things to do it. Excuse me. And he was just blabbering, by the way. So I didn't have to actually attempt lip sync, and I didn't have to attempt a complicated synchronization of the eyes. This has eyes and mouth, and they're synchronized. This is the really difficult part, most difficult part of really the whole thing. Maybe this is going to be the next most difficult part. So the question is, I'm trying to approximate where, do I want it 3 times or 2? That's what I'm trying to decide. If I do it 3 times, it's a more gentle slope and probably a little more readable. But it isn't going to be like super aggressive in how it's traveling. It'll be going somewhere, but it won't be really sliding through the stuff super fast.
If you do it
3. But 3 is what tells me that it's a readable amount. Or barely readable amount. Again, that almost looks like a K on the bottom. I'm going to leave it. It's like, okay, it'll just be FUK. If people want to see it as FUK, sure.
That was my...
This is fine. This is Fux. That makes sense. That was what you thinking?
Oh, no, FUK
This is
was
Fux.
my...
Where you headed? Where I was headed?
Yeah,
right?
when I used to make political art, that's
yeah.
how I would sign it, so I wouldn't get in trouble.
Right. Yeah. Do you want to like develop a signature like Samo trademark or something?
It was more because I was making a lot of art that would, that's kind of like endangering. That like if the wrong person saw it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're telling me this. It's on tape. You're gonna edit it out
Yeah,
because
that's-
otherwise that person's
yeah.
gonna know. You were trying to.
Like I made like Trump sucking Putin's dick, and I made like 2 cops dressed up as 2 pig cops as the KKK, like making out or like squeezing each other's.
And you're
nipples.
telling me this now. So they have the hands on each other's knobs.
Yeah, I can show you.
Maybe another time.
But yeah, but that's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna pull a Samo and paste it all around.
Yeah.
And then see if it got traction.
Yeah.
But it is. I don't know. I don't think I
street
want
art.
my face attached to that.
Right. And we may have that emotion, but it doesn't define us completely, right? This doesn't define me. It's just kind of how I feel about some of the oddity is comedy to me, you know, the strangeness of it, that and perhaps that's how I cope with the gaslighting and the world gone ratings mad, clickbait mad, where it's not about whether the information is true or poison. It's just exciting, and maybe it's true. Who knows, you know, and allowing really entertainment to gloss over information, and to disinform means it's infotainment, really, which I don't see used a lot because you really need all 3 together, right? To describe what's going on, it's not just an information. It's entertainment disguised as news, which is always lying to you. What an art form. Wow. And it's political theater. While it claims the other side is political theater, you know, they complain the hell out of marchers who lie down on the streets trying to say, you know, we are acting out some kind of, you know, atrocity or genocide. And then what are they doing but cosplay everywhere? You know, it's just so acting out. And the one fundamental thing just from the very beginning of this nightmare that the world's had to endure because powerful people want to abuse rules to further their centralized